Hey, it's Paul time for another 5x5. Today we're going to talk about the WannaCry crypto virus, also known as ransomware, that has been in the news of late and certainly will be in the news again as new variations of it emerge out. So first of all, what is a crypto virus or what is ransomware? They're the same name for the exact same situation. So the crypto viruses, they're designed to get onto a computer, and instead of just maybe executing a program and trying to extract some information, they actually will encrypt and hold hostage your computer or your data. And then they will send up a ransomware kind of alert onto your screen. You have to pay them. In the case of the WannaCry, it's $300. It's sometimes as high as $1,000 or even more that you'll need to pay to get your data back. Now, if you have a backup, you're good to go. You just restore from prior to the infection. But in reality, still a lot of people don't do backups. And this is like the number one thing I would tell anybody, anytime, anywhere. Forget even if we're talking about crypto viruses and ransomware, your computer is going to fail, your hard drive is going to fail, and if you do not have a backup, you're going to lose that data. You got to do backups. So there's our number one rule. So number two, though, is closely akin to this, is that the WannaCry virus and other viruses that are out there that are used for whatever malicious purposes, in this case ransomware, they take advantage of something known as an exploit. An exploit or a vulnerability in software code is usually an unintended feature that, because code that makes up these programs is millions of lines long and written by multiple people, multiple teams, it's very easy for an unintended feature or a function to enter into the system, or even something that was intended to work one way and does exactly what it's supposed to do has another function that no one even knew that it could do, that is a vulnerability that lets people from the outside into your systems. Now, in the case of the WannaCry, which is all over the place, 155 countries, 200,000 companies impacted by this particular virus, largest hacking attack in the history of the world so far. It used an exploit that had to do with a vulnerability in Microsoft Windows that was patched 2 months ago. So if you were doing your updates, Microsoft Windows updates on a regular basis, or somebody was helping you do that, you weren't vulnerable to this. And so the people that were infected, they did not do the patch. No, there's not a good reason for that. It's a 2-month-old patch. They can't say that, well, we were waiting to make sure that everything was okay with it. That's just not, they just weren't doing patches. And so that's a critical piece that you've got to take into consideration, is that you've got to do updates to all of your code to keep it safe. Now, on top of that, there are other layers of protection that were in place that should have prevented this from being any kind of an issue. A good firewall gateway protection would have stopped it. SonicWall had an update within just really hours of the outbreak to be able to block that. OpenDNS, another service that we use, likewise was blocking the WannaCry. There were multiple layers of protection that were out there. So again, those people that got infected, not only did they not do the patches that they were supposed to do, they didn't have any security or sufficient security to protect them against that type of a threat. So, you know, this is all kind of normal, common sense things that we're supposed to do, but because our lives are busy and we get focused on other things, we don't think about these security items. But it's the same thing we've been talking about for years and years. You've got to do patches, you've got to do your Windows updates, you've got to have antivirus, you've got to have firewall protection, you've got to have a position of trying to protect your systems, basically being suspicious. Most of these viruses come in through email that tries to trick you to click on something that really it takes you someplace else than where you think that you're going, and then the virus kind of try to load in through that. So what I am telling you is that these are the same things that we've told you for a long time, and a lot of other security experts. Really, you can see with the scope of the damage that was done. I mean, we actually think that there may be people that have died as a result of this particular attack, because hospitals were greatly impacted in England in particular, and a tremendous amount of financial damage that was done by this. This shows you how widespread and how powerful something like this can be, and how easy it is to prevent it. Simply everybody doing their part, securing your systems, doing your updates, we wouldn't have had this problem. So takeaway from this is, number one, back up, because you never know when something's going to go wrong. Number two, do your security planning, execute it correctly. Number one thing there, do your Windows updates, your security updates, and you should be fairly well protected from all of these threats. Hope that it didn't affect you. If it did, you can give us a call. We'll be glad to help you out any way we can, and understand that just because it's kind of dying off right now, we are expecting variants of this virus to come back at any time, and maybe even worse than what it was before.